I find myself in a horrible as a consumer position. I don't want to punish the innocent people in all of this.
Walk with us as we escort you to safety, experience, and the adventure of a lifetime.
You know what I really love about these shows is I really enjoy the conversation with SirJahzeal. They bring up very good points. They have different points of view than I do, and I love the fact that we get to talk about these. Makes me think. Hopefully, it's also making all you guys think too. So, our escort quest hopefully will escort you safely, because sometimes I've been known to get distracted on my escort quest, and all of a sudden I realized I was escorting. Where'd he go? Oh, he's
Don't
dead.
text and drive, folks.
I have to restart it. So we mentioned about Blizzard and their issues, okay? And Blizzard, of course, has a stable of games that people like, whether it's Hearthstone or World of Warcraft, Overwatch, or even still people play Heroes of the Storm, and not to mention with some of the old games, but even the ones that I think are coming out in the future, possibly. And with all that Blizzard's going on, I think we might have mentioned it before in a different context on a previous show, is the fact that would we or should we keep playing games for a company we think is bad? Now, this is bad. I'm not arguing about the fact, Chris, Double Two Resurrected, a good point. I'm not arguing about the fact that because a lot of the Blizzard people are saying, please don't quit us because we're still making an income and a job here, and we're not the ones causing the issues, okay? We're hoping that they'll right the ship will be better, okay? Now, I know for a fact when we look at history, okay, there are a lot of great classics, literature, music, art, okay? And we look at them and go, oh my gosh, it's just fabulous, okay? And we treasure and praise them and we just love them, okay? And then if you start reading about the person behind them, you find that sometimes those items were created by the most reprehensible, awful, evilest people on the face of the planet. As you would just cancel them in a second. Okay? And so this what?
You said rehearsable.
Rehensible. Okay. Anyways,
Sorry.
rehensible. Gosh, now I'm questioning my word. So the question pops up is, but not just with Blizzard, but any game company, okay? Where does one draw the line in playing a game that comes from a bad company? Now, we can stretch this, and a lot of us do this with canceling that we don't listen to certain, we don't read some books, we don't listen to some music, we don't watch some movies because the people who are in it, we don't like, okay? We think we don't like them, we think they're terrible, whether we don't believe in them, political wise, or we just think that their lifestyle is totally bad, okay? Where does one draw the line in playing a game that comes from a bad company? I am a mixed emotion on this one. I don't know how to answer that because, again, there's a lot of great stuff out there, great art that comes from bad people. And if they did great art, like, let's say we could pick World of Warcraft, would I stop playing it because it's a bad company? I'm not playing it right now because I think they're just not doing very well in their dev department. And there are other games out there that I would have spent more time and money on. If right now, if I was still loving World of Warcraft, I'd probably keep playing it, even though Blizzard right now is going through all these troubles. Solomon, what are your thoughts? What would you do?
I kind of touched upon this actually two podcasts ago. I don't think it's like, well, okay, so we're gonna come at this solely just on companies, though, right?
Yeah, okay, you can, yeah, if you want to.
Because I don't think it's fair to give that. Again, it's a double standard probably, but I think you should judge. No, maybe not. So what I was gonna say is like individuals actually has an identity. Companies don't. Like when you say Blizzard, who are you talking about? Are you talking about the CEO? Are you talking about the execs? Are you talking about the people? No, it's all of that. But at the end of the day, it's still a faceless entity. Like the government. If I say the government, well, can I point at an individual person to say, "Oh, that's government"? Like because can you give government accountability? If so, then who? Right? And so with the thing going on with Blizzard right now, yeah, absolutely, I'd give him a second chance because name name any company that had it right from the beginning, from the get-go, 100% of the time. You're not going to find any of them, right? Now, again, I said this 2 weeks ago. What is your standard? What's the cutoff point? What's the line in that you will not cross when a company does X, Y, and Z? And that's fair enough. And everybody's lines is different. Some might align more with others, depending on who you are. But again, because Blizzard is a faceless entity, they could change for the worse or they could change for the better. And if they change for the better, then fine. I'm willing to give them a second chance or even a third chance. But if Blizzard was an individual, then that would be a little bit different because it's like, stay away from my kids. You can't say that to Blizzard because then who are you gonna, maybe people of Blizzard who's done those terrible things that they're being accused of, sure, but they're not Blizzard though. You're putting the blame on the actual person that did the things that people are accusing them of, right? So, yeah, playing games from companies that did terrible things, sure, but again, it all depends on what's the word am I looking for? It all depends on the man. Now I'm losing my words. Thanks, Dad. I appreciate it. It just depends on what they do after the fact, because again, if I made mistakes, I would want to be forgiven
Right.
too. So if that's my standard, if that's the stick that I want to be um uh judged, no, measured at, then I have to apply that to everybody else, even if it is corporations. And so yeah,
Well
I
said.
know it's tough, but yeah.
I know we did mention it, but I was looking at it a little different vein back then. Could we talk about whether or not we would stop, like Diablo 2 Resurrected coming up in September? Would we keep playing? So
Well, the thing
that's what
is,
yeah.
like you said, it was made by a different company, right? They
Yeah,
just
that's the one that I concerned about more. It's a publisher of Blizzard, but another dev did actually the work.
Right. But let's take that example. Let's just say it was developed by Blizzard, published by Blizzard, everything had to do with Blizzard. If you played that game, does that make you a rape apologist now? Of course it
Yeah,
doesn't. Of course
right.
it doesn't. You just like the franchise. You're separating the art from the artist, as you said 2 weeks ago, right? And so, and again, and for anyone to call you that just because you wanted to play a game that you were looking forward to being completely disingenuous, because it's like, again, Diablo didn't do anything. Most of the people who created the game didn't do anything, I would argue.
Right.
So it's like, why are you so it's like confirmation bias to the textbook confirmation bias, it seems like. And again, I'm putting it black and white. I get it, and it's more nuanced than that. That's completely reasonable argument against what I just said. I get it, but uh if you get into too much of a nuances, here, this, that, and the other, you just kind of don't get anywhere. You just kind of you just gotta make the decision. If you don't want to play it because bad things happen with the company, fine, that's great. But if you still want to play it, but have at it. Like, why not? It's yeah. Anyways.
Well said. Thank you so much. So CEO also made a comment the fact that I don't think there's a line in this instance. If something is good, it's good. Doesn't matter the source. Aleatory said maybe the poor work environment has contributed to poor dev updates. So she says, if the people were fired or something, what can I do? Last one here was CEO Awesome says, I mean, people were banning / canceling Trump, the man he is, even though he was doing good as a president, which is wrong in my opinion.
Right. So the argument could go both ways too. Like,
Yeah. So JahzealZia, what are your thoughts about this banning or not playing a game from a company that is bad?
I find myself in a horrible, as a consumer, position. I don't want to punish the innocent people in all of this. I want the guilty people to be punished. And I think that, being that it's going, specifically talking Acti Blizz right now, as well as Riot's going through some stuff in the state of California as well. I would just leave it at that. Let the justice system, as corrupt as it is, has been shown to be, at times.
Still better than
Let
China's.
let justice do her job, and weed out those people that don't need to be in places of power any longer. And it makes it really difficult for me as a gamer because I do still want to play Diablo 2 Resurrected. I don't know that I would ever at this point go back to World of Warcraft, and that has nothing really to do with the situation going on with ActiBliz right now. It's more that I've just kind of fallen out of love with the game. It's just not as captivating for me anymore. I'm not having fun playing the game. It's just not the story's not interesting any longer. The gameplay, all the different mechanics and parts of the game just are not entertaining to me. So there's no reason for me to pay $15 a month for it. So I probably wouldn't be playing it even if they weren't having issues. But I as far as where I have came to stand on these issues of, hey, there's some really seriously wrongs being done to employers, to employees, in most cases, although it can work the opposite way, vice versa. But most often we see it that way, that it's whoever's on top is going to be, abusing the people underneath them. In these games, it like I said, I don't want to punish the innocent people by unsubscribing or no longer purchasing games from that company. But at the same time, I do want to let the company know that I don't stand for and I don't approve of that type of behavior in the workplace. None of those things that we've heard coming from both of those companies, Riot and uh, Activision Blizzard, that kind of stuff should not be happening. Period. In any workplace, nobody should be put in those situations. Whether you're working at a car wash or a game company or a janitorial service or whatever, you shouldn't have to fear going to work. You shouldn't have to dread going to work. But I just have not quite 50, but I've had 48 years on this earth where I've participated in saying, hey, I'm not going to purchase your products until you change your ways kind of movements. And I remember doing back in the 90s, we did something, AT&T, there was stuff going on with them that a bunch of us didn't approve of. And we said, hey, we're not going to get long distance service with them. Oh, Johnson & Johnson products, we put a ban on buying them for a while to try to send a message that, hey, we're not buying your products till you change. Unfortunately, those companies just make too much money and they don't care. They don't seem to get hurt enough to care. And so the only thing that we can do is hand it to the Justice Department. They can come in, they can, sue the pants off of them, and maybe then they'll make changes. They'll boot out the bad apples and get back to business, and the innocent people can get a friendly, better work environment, healthier work environment, and they can move forward. And hopefully, and that will cause inspiration to create better products, because now they're not going into work dreading going into work. Now they're going to be like,
True.
we've got new management, they're cool, we're going to feel better about ourselves, about the place that we work, and maybe have even more creativity for their games, and their games will blossom and become, and maybe WoW will become great again. I I know that's really super optimistic coming from cynical me, but I don't know where else to go with this. I don't think that saying, "Oh, you don't get my $15 this month," then Blizzard. I don't think that's hurting them, and I don't think it's sending a message.
I think enough people do it, it'll hurt them. get a message, but I think the message right
Maybe.
now is even more being seen by what the state of California is, and the fact that their people are up. They did a strike, and there's possibility for things going on there at Blizzard that will change, and people are leaving. And when you see people walking out the door, that becomes the flight tends to be a story to people, at least to management somehow. I know there's been a recent article about Blue Origin, Jeff Bezos' space company, having seen some top talent leave. It makes you wonder what's going on. Could just be opportunity, could be timing, everything else. But and that's right. That us for as consumers, we have to make judgment values. There was a big push a couple of years ago with regards to like blood diamonds. Want to make sure your diamond has been registered and that it didn't come from a place that was blood diamonds. But we don't do that for every single article, piece of clothing we wear or do. I mean, people have accused Nike of sweatshops. People have accused of uh, clothing companies of sweatshops. And so you can choose to go find a reputable company that has a clean bill of sale, I might say, okay? But you don't know. I mean, today with regards to the EVs, a lot of EVs have lithium batteries. Lithium comes mainly, well, all the places, but China is one of them. So are you going to keep buying EVs knowing that the batteries come because of China, who has been,
Mm.
basically abusing the Uyghurs, and putting them in concentration camps? I don't know. It's like people got upset with Milan because in the end credits it says they gave credit to China for where they filmed it at. I'm like, well, how can you do that? Well, do that for every company country or they're in to say that. It's like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna have to ask them to say we're sorry that or put some kind of yeah. So you're right. It's like for us, a lot of the those people who have been talking about we should cancel Amazon because Amazon is run by Bezos, who owns Washington Post and Blue Origin, and people are questioning like, why did you ban those books? I thought it was supposed to be a free and open shop, and yet do you actually stop your purchasing? So that's where it all goes down to. I mean, you can try to do your best job possible and in your own conscience, really, ultimately. Okay, so at this point, yeah. All right. That was all of our MMO opinions. Okay. If you guys have anything you wanted to share with us, go ahead and post it down below in the YouTube chat, wherever it is. Okay. We appreciate everybody who's been here, giving their opinion here also in chat. Check out the further adventures of Kennethan by liking and subscribing and watching me live on twitch.tv/Kennethan.